In this and a few additional briefings, I will focus on the concept of dialogue, not in the scientific way, but just with a little bit of slow thinking about what it means to start implementing the global strategy through dialogue. And here is already my first point. The dialogue on the global strategy implementation has already started inside the EU, and it's going to involve quite a number of engagements for the High Representative herself. As I speak, she is in New York together with many other EU leaders for the UN Week, including a summit on migration. And she is also speaking outside the formal setting on the global strategy, at least at one university. Immediately after the holidays in 2016, she went to the informal foreign ministers meeting at Gimnich. She reported publicly from that dialogue that ministers had immediately asked her about implementation plans. She then proceeded more or less immediately to the yearly meeting with EU ambassadors in Brussels, where she presented what is needed in terms of implementation in considerable detail. The overall gist is, of course, here that the strategy will have to be operationalized in different contexts, for instance, defense and security and conflict management. At some point, it's clear that this will require redrafting of existing sub-strategies and, to a certain extent, new strategic documents. It was implicit in her presentation that there is also going to have to be dialogue, there's going to have to be an investment in people. So I certainly hope that this includes staff induction. Here I come to yet another point, that there will be a very important need to broaden the sense of ownership, both inside and outside the EU. Ownership means a sort of a coalition of the willing, without which not much is going to happen with the implementation of the strategy. In order to do this in an effective way, there will be the unpleasant task not only of selecting the main priorities of what should be done, which is a long list in the global strategy, but there is also going to have to be a need to make more clear what is less important, set negative priorities. If this is not done, then obviously this will be very detrimental. So then there is going to have to be struck a balance between different things. For instance, what is meant with the notion of principled pragmatism in the text of the global strategy, which means striking a balance between values and interest in the implementation of EU policies. The proof of the pudding here, in terms of effectiveness, will be to see to it that the necessary nuances are made in each setting. In terms of ownership, the High Representative has already stressed the need to link up people dealing with internal security issues in the EU with those doing the work on the external side. Sometimes, of course, the same people, but certainly not always. In particular not as regards the Member States and to a certain extent the European Commission. To a large extent, it will be a matter of enhancing ownership through partnership with external actors, including notably international organizations such as the United Nations system. In that relationship, there is a matter of developing relationships involving both dialogue and support. In all of this, there will have to be a keen sense of economy in terms of staff, because not only the EU External Action Service and the EU delegations, but also CSDP structures are scarcely populated in terms of staff able to do this, and they are going to need a lot of help, and not least trying to catalyze progress, enabling others to do their jobs more effectively.